people. Welcome back to another episode of Thursday Night Live with those two sisters. Anyway, share, like, subscribe, and drop us a comment in the chat so that we know that you're here with us. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. You know, it's funny. It's so funny because everybody has to work. And I had to take a good 20 minutes to myself in between work and this because I was having to just I wasn't upset or anything, but just switching into my non-work mindset and that whole thing. But
yeah, non-work mindset. That's like
what do you call it? When you transition into the evening, it's de-escalate. I don't know if it's called de-escalate. De-escalate is when something is exciting or whatever.
About debrief.
Yeah, I'm thinking about a word that sounds like that, but I can't remember what it is. But
I can't put my finger on
it'll come to me later when I don't need to remember it. But it's basically I just needed a minute to just get out of my work mindset, because I think a lot of times it's just about productivity, get it done, mm-hmm. And it's not really a lot of room to sit and make sound decisions, and anyway, that's a whole
it's just stuff need to be done. And when we first went into the whole pandemic situation, I remember there was a week when I was just is this for real? I'm supposed to
working from home?
Yeah, because I had to set myself some boundaries for when not to do work. Just because your computer's here and you hear people dinging and sending you messages, you do not have to do that if it's not time for you to be working. And it took me a week or two to get into that, because I was just oh, I'm here, I might as well just knock this out. I could just watch TV or whatever. Yeah. But I had to stop myself, and so now I'm really even today it was 5:03, and I think I was sitting in the bedroom, whatever, and I heard a ding, which means somebody sent me an instant message, and I was who?
Right.
Bringing this thing after and then I was okay, but that's because I set my boundaries. No, I work from here. I'm very productive from home. But that's because I can create my own little zen and atmosphere, and I don't have to deal with traffic or whatever. So anyway, I said all that to say, you do need to decompress after work. You had to go
decompress. I think that's the word.
I thought you said that first.
I don't know if I did or not. I don't think so, because it just sounded so refreshing. So
did you have to go into work today?
I did not, and I had a choice, and I just took the right choice for me, because I knew. So Tuesday, it was one of those days that it rained. Oh yeah, it must have been Tuesday, because it was the first day back from the holiday. It rained, and traffic going into the city was disgusting. It was absolutely. I left here at 7:36, and I got to work at 9:16 or 9:18. I was why though? Right. So, but
because you're not that far. You know what I'm saying? You're not an hour and a half away.
It's because I hit 4 parts of traffic, right? And I had to laugh to myself, because I was each point of traffic you hit took you 15 minutes to get through, right? And that's an hour. So I was it makes sense that it took an hour and a half, because it normally takes me about a half hour. Anyway, I got over that.
Walk that through that.
I did. I had to make sense of it. Luckily, I was listening to an ebook, an audiobook, so I was at least the time wasn't wasted. But I definitely was traumatized for the rest of the week, and I was there's no way you're gonna catch me
hilarious. Again. Think about the fact that you used to do that every day, not an hour and a half.
I know. I thought about that today, because I decided that I wasn't gonna even try it, and I was thinking to myself, I'm really I guess I justified it, because I was I'm really doing the organization a favor, because you're losing time out of me. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. That's my argument. It takes me an hour and a half to get to work. Well, it takes me an hour to get to work if there's no traffic. If there's traffic, it's longer. But then it also takes me 2 hours to get home sometimes. Yeah. An hour and a half, 2 hours to get home. So that's 3 hours that I'm unproductive. So I always tell them, on these days that I got to come into the office, please don't send me any emails with any questions that you have, because I'll be driving.
I'll be driving here and driving back. right? And it doesn't make any sense when you think about it, because it's really a win-win for everybody to be able to have people, if they want to work from home, like people who want to go in, sure, go ahead, enjoy, knock yourself out. But the people who want to stay home, like I think about this, like there's probably a higher cost, very slightly, for us at home to, like, maybe our power bill went up, maybe, you know, I don't think I spend more on food because food is more expensive downtown. So, like, you know, having meal preps and stuff, you know, make a sandwich, have a salad, or do whatever, and then you're saving on gas, you're saving on parking, you're saving on, and then I mean, just even for the organization itself, the idea that, like, you know, here's my whole spiel. I think I may have mentioned this before last season, because there's a certain amount of time that I spend getting ready when I know I have to go in, right? Like it's a good hour, because like I have to make sure my shoes match my shirt. I have to make sure that all of my elbows and stuff are lotioned. I don't really have to do that when I'm sitting in front of a Zoom all day, right? On top of the fact that I have to like pack up my stuff, make sure I have this, do that, do this, right? And like, you know, I just don't care all that much when I'm putting on like a nice top and some sweatpants or leggings or whatever I feel like wearing. And so there's that. So there's about 45 minutes that we're saving there. I don't know. It probably takes me still about 20 minutes to get ready, but that's like about 40 minutes of saving.
It's definitely a lot less than having to prepare yourself to leave the house or whatever. And I feel crazy, you know, talking about it like this, because like it is a blessing that we get to do that. I really am at the point where I'm like, I will never go into a person's office 5 days a week ever again.
It doesn't make any sense.
Why? And so, you know, and so, okay, that's where I'm at with that. But I've been like consumed with this idea that I have, and I'm just like, I was like, I had one idea, and now it's a whole other thing that is bigger than what I was thinking about. And so now I'm like, how? I need to get.
What are the steps to this? Okay, so then that gets me into our first topic about sort of like being yourself, and it kind of is, you know, is associated with what we just talked about, because another real perk personally of working from home is to be in my own space, have my own vibe set, because I don't necessarily have to be like ready to engage. Like, yeah, I know what meetings I have. Sure, you can ping me. We can have a quick video conversation if you'd like, but my vibe is that is one of peace. Like, I don't know what your vibe is at home, but like typically I'll have something playing in the background, something zen. So either I'll have like a like, you know, some old Chuck Mangione playing, or some Chakras music, or I'll go and play like, you know, some real music, or I'll have like a planner video or a makeup video or something.
I'm gonna have to look back at your text to see who the fuck that is, because I know.
Oh, Chuck Mangione. Oh, slap me in the face.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what my vibe is like after you finish.
Okay, I'll be done with this in a second. He plays just a clue for you. He plays the flugelhorn. So, I'm so mad at you. I'm gonna have to smack you up verbally after this. So yeah, after the show though. So yeah, so I set my little vibe, and it really helps, because, and I even find myself doing that when I go into the office.
I know who that is.
I didn't even catch what you said.
I said he plays the flugelhorn.
Oh, I thought you would, because I just sent you something like a month ago.
Oh I gotta go back and look at your message and see.
So mad at you. We'll get through this together. But so, so the thing is, being in my own Zen mode or my own zone, and Zen can mean anything to any individual, because like maybe you like rock music and you can play rock music, or maybe you want to see Legos being built, or maybe you want to, you know what I'm saying, like whatever it is that you need to do for your space. Maybe you want to have a candle set, maybe you want to have soap operas playing, right? It used to be one of my things, which it's not so much anymore, but to always have the news going in the background. Like for some reason, it just pacified me to hear like somebody's talking about something. I don't know why, but it was a real thing for me for years. I mean, it probably does still bring me some comfort at sometimes, but I don't feel the need.
That is toxic. Okay?
It is. It doesn't pacify me anymore. But it's just, whatever sounds you need to have planned. Sometimes people use like white noise, or there's a new thing called brown noise. I really like brown noise. But you set
what that is yet, but I did see an article on that.
It's good. It's good. It's like a lower frequency or something. So it's like even more like relaxing. So anyway, my whole point in saying that is that once you set your mood, once you set your environment for yourself, whatever it is that you like, it's hard to get out of your zone where someone else could penetrate. Even something as simple as having your desk set up the way you want, and have your notepad over here for home and have your notepad over here for work. And that way, whatever comes up in your mind, you got somewhere to like capture ideas, or, whatever it is that you like to do or like to have around. So I just feel like being yourself in that way, it's kind of difficult when you're encountering people. Hey, Monique. Oh, thank you. It's kind of difficult when you can't control your environment. So I agree with you 100%.
When somebody can't just run in here and be like, yeah, I just hit send on that email, but I just figured I'd just walk over here before you actually got a chance to check it and just be an asshole. So yeah. those visits I don't miss. And it's just the whole just politics of going into the office. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to have this happen to do work. And so my vibe is, yes, I can control my atmosphere. I'll have this is gonna sound a little bit chaotic, but it works for me. Okay. Mm-mm. So, I have the dog running around over here sometimes. So he got his own little morning routine, but I'll get up in the morning. I usually get up and I listen to like music after I done did my little morning routine. I have some music playing around. I'm like, do I want tea today? Do I want breakfast? Like, what do I want? And then I'll just like, go through that whole like, same thing I would do at work. I'll be like, what do I want today? But here it's different because I'm like, I'm going to prepare whatever I eat. Self-love, cooking for yourself is a good form of self-love, but so I'm gonna prepare what I eat, then I got the music playing. I will not turn the music off. I'll just turn it down. So it's playing back there, right? I can still hear when I go back there to get something or take a break, then the music's there. But then out here, I have the TV, and I always get, especially recently, either I got like somebody's interview playing that like two dope people that I like. I got their interview playing talking about how they're building their business or what they did. There's like thousands of those to listen to. So I have one of those playing, or it'll just be something, some video that I'm watching on YouTube that I'm listening to. Like, I like this one girl. Her name is Maroon Nikki. She's a really good storyteller. She just be having these story times about her life, but I'll just have her, you know what I'm saying? She's a female correctional officer. So she got some wild stories. So anyway, I always have something playing. So then, and I have this whole song and dance that I have to do when somebody calls. And I'll be like, oh, right. Dare you pick up the phone and dial my number? I'm like, just send me an email. Like, I have this whole thing now. I have to have the remote beside me, and I have to like hit the mute button because sometimes it's stuff playing that if I answered the phone and somebody heard like 2 or 3 words, they'd be like, "What is going on?"
What do you listen to? Like, and that is even more of an intrusion. Like, what do you mean? Are you actually questioning me on what's going on in my environment? Like, how invasive.
But it's so funny. But I mean, I'll be sitting right here and doing what I got to do when I got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I do like the flexibility of being able to handle other things that I wouldn't normally be able to handle at work. Like, I can take my lunch and then go, do whatever I want to do this close to home. If I were to do that at work, I would have to drive all the way home and go to wherever it is around here that I need to handle business at. So, it really works out for me, and it makes me more productive. Like, I don't know. I will never go back 5 days a week. It's not going to happen. But anyway,
it just doesn't make any sense to. And I'm going to piggyback on that one thing you said about being close to things that you need to take care of. Because I've noticed that too. Like, I've made a few like doctors and dentist appointments in the past couple months, and it's so easy to do that. Like, if you need to make an appointment or take a phone call, personal phone call or something, like, you don't have to like close your door and do all this. I can
get my Amazon packages when they come.
The reason it makes, that's a definite question. The reason it's so convenient too, though, is that the reason it makes me more productive is because I'm, having a full self environment. So it doesn't bother me to have to do something, you know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to being at work where I'm just really bottled up. So it's so funny because sometimes when people call me and I'm thinking like, I
like,
have
you don't have nothing to do better than calling me.
I have those 4 to 5 seconds where I'm just like, what the hell do you want? Like, and I'm like,
and then I'm like, okay, all
together.
Right. Let me just get it together.
But so most of the time, and I guess now that gives some understanding of like why we have a lot of like meetings, like regular meetings. And I think that at first I didn't understand it, but now I understand that the reason it's designed like that is so that you don't have to be contacting everybody 2 times, 3 times a day. It's just like whatever questions you have could probably wait until our meeting in a couple of days. And if it can't, schedule a time to talk to me. Like a lot of times people will reach out and be like, hey, is there a time we could talk later? Right. And it's just like, yeah, sure. Anytime after so-and-so, which is more courteous than being like, hey, even if somebody does have to call me, they'll DM me first and be like, hey, is now a good time for a call? Which I really appreciate. These things are so funny because it's not something that people have the courtesy to do when you're in the office. You know what I'm saying? You just barge right into somebody's office. Oh, you're having a conversation?
You lucky because you only have to deal with people who can DM you. It's those outside people that,
Oh, true.
I don't know where they're calling from or what, because we have places outside of here that we talk to. And so my name is always given as a, if you, whatever question you have, she probably knows who to talk to.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, just contact Anita. Yeah, that's horrible.
So my emails are just like, what am I going to find in the email today? Because, it's really interesting. But anyway, so, but yeah, I don't even know where we were going with that. But
I'll just say the way I was going is like being yourself and like, having to kind of not shrink yourself, but kind of have a different mentality when you're working for someone else. So it's kind of challenging, but I am grateful. We're grateful to have her employment. So
I will say that, like, I'm thankful that I was able to, keep rocking all the way through that. But I really, really, really wish I would have had the idea that I have now.
Well, everything happens for a reason. And speaking of which, this is a great segue into our next topic, which is Black businesses, but how it relates to like ego, expectation when you're working with other people. One of the things that people used to always complain about, Black business owners would say that somebody's always asking me for a hookup or this or that or a discount. And so now, one of the things that I hear a lot with people who run Black businesses is working with other people. And like, what I've noticed is, sort of like ego. And the way I describe ego, and I have to probably look up the real definition of it because I don't want to misquote, but ego speaks to me like this, like, here, and recognize me, acknowledge me, right? That's what an ego is, right? Like, how dare they? Right? Don't they know who I am? They need to acknowledge me. Like, an ego is going to jump outside of you and want representation. They're going to want their fair share. They're going to want, to be like, an ego is basically jumping out of you, not thinking of the other people that you're working with.
So the definition is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. So,
okay, so that does kind of correlate. But the way I'm thinking of it, I'm actually thinking of a specific example. 2 of them actually, both having to do with podcasts. Recently, Joe Budden's podcast had a situation where they kind of split up, and he actually had an interview with another person who used to have a podcast, well, still has a podcast called I Am Athlete, where they had a similar thing happen with their cast, where their cast split up into another
podcast. How long ago did that happen with the I Am Athlete?
It had to be in the last couple.
I never even watched the video.
It had to be in the last couple of months because James watches it all the time.
See this video, of course, that's popping up now. I'm not gonna play it, but I'll just show the picture of this right here. That's the thumbnail for it. Okay, so I gotta watch that.
Yeah, so it used to be Chad Johnson and Brandon Marshall, who were the hosts, and
Chad Ocho Cinco.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was very spirited. Now I don't even think he's on the other part, the other one, the pivot. I think they just dropped him all together, unfortunately. But he was a very spirited, and I actually feel like I was watching that in the last couple months. So I feel like they recently split. I think it was it's definitely.
Well, you don't have to look it up. I just wanted to know if it was because I had not been following that. Like I was following the Joe Budden podcast when that whole thing happened when Rory and Maul left, because I remember thinking, what are they gonna do? You know what I mean? But then I saw their new show too or whatever, but I haven't followed that. Anyway, let me stop talking about that because I'm not even watching the people.
No, it's all good. Basically, I'll just explain a little bit of what. So there is an interview out there between Joe Budden and one of the members of the former I Am Athlete, or I guess they're still. I can't say I Am Athlete former because it's still. Okay. It still is a podcast. It's just split up into two now, where the people you would expect to see on I'm Athlete are now. The breakup happened 8 months ago. Golly, I must have been watching an old episode. So basically, in the interview, Joe Budden and this other guy are talking about sort of like some of the mistakes that they wish they could have prevented in keeping, their people together. And Joe Budden had kind of mentioned that, he thought he could have communicated better. And, it's one of those things where when you're working together with somebody, they, you do need to communicate. Like, that's a fact. But also there are expectations that, people silently have sometimes. That this is why I recommend that people have like third parties within their businesses, like not necessarily like mediators, but like there's nothing wrong with seeking legal counsel, like with setting things up in a contract. And I know it kind of goes against the way some people in our community think, like, oh no, we on blood, dog. Like
well, then those people don't do business, because even if it's a free thing that you're offering, if you're agreeing to do something for somebody, neither party should have a problem signing a contract. Like, I'm going to uphold whatever I said I was going to do, and you're going to uphold our agreement that I'm going to do it. And it's simpler. It's nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think some people are, I'm just speaking generally here, and I'm not even really, I guess I am kind of touching on on one of them, but just in a general sense, I feel like people are so about the like loyalty culture or what have you, that they consider legal, like paperwork, contracts, things like that, and getting lawyers involved, they consider it to be unnecessary, or it means that you don't trust me if we have to sign a contract. And I just don't think that, I think it's something that we should start having more conversations about, because that's not what it is. A contract actually protects you, and you can actually maneuver and put stuff in a contract that if someone presents you with a contract to sign, that could be something that you could use to leverage and protect your assets as well. So it's not just a one-way street. You don't have to just sign a contract as is. You can make amendments to it and say, yeah, number 17, let's change that to 50%.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so you know that because you're familiar with business, how business goes. And so I think it's partly what you said, like some people, whoever's saying that, okay, you don't trust me if you want a contract, it's like that's a form of manipulation, because now you're trying to talk me out of something that we suggested that will help both of us. But I think a lot of it too is just like an information gap of people not knowing how important it is, because it always surprises me. Like, it doesn't surprise me for people who are just getting into business or just trying to do something or whatever. Like, sometimes you do got to do the, I do something for you, you do something for me, and it don't necessarily warrant a contract, but a contract could be verbal as well. But it always shocks me when somebody on his level, on Joe Budden's level, doesn't have things written out in a, like a, just to, like you said, just to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying?
And like, and I'm not entirely sure that Joe Budden didn't have a contract, but from the way
that was going to be my second part.
Yeah.
So I'm saying everybody's not them, but like it surprises me when people on that level don't have that stuff squared away, because if you're doing business with me and this is like our stuff, right? Like, okay, you and me are doing this podcast. If we brought somebody else on, like, we would have to talk about how that would go.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
And that wouldn't be on I got your back, you got my back, because that's different. So my other thing is, like, even if he did have a contract, the people who were involved in that with him, like Maul and Roy, like, they should have had somebody making sure they was straight. You know what I'm saying? Like like you said, you can't go off of trust or whatever like that. But like, it just surprised me that people who are in those circles where contracts just be flying for the main thing that you've been known to be doing, but you don't have a good contract for this situation, and could have avoided a lot of stuff. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, Monique, that's a good point. He does look out for himself, and he's really, he seems to be very intelligent. So I'm sure his paperwork was fine, right? And there's a bit of manipulation there. I've seen him do that as well. But if they would have had their stuff in a way, I feel like, perhaps it wouldn't have gone the way that it went. But again, I'm not on the inside. I don't know what those boundaries and things were. But I'm just bringing up the issue because I feel like it's something that our community, specifically our entrepreneurs, should talk about. It's not something that you have to shy away from. Third parties, meaning the benefits of having a bookkeeper, of knowing a lawyer, of knowing, people in HR, people who can explain things to you.
Use your resources.
Using your resources, and also like just doing your own research as to like how systems work. Well, how are we getting paid? Right. And how are we getting paid, and what percentage am I getting paid? And so if that's how we're getting paid, does that mean when I press this button, I can make even more money? Is this the money button? Right. So, because it's like, you're not just going to tell me, hey, Ellen.
Hey, Ellen.
You're not just going to tell me.
I just want to say this. This is another content creator. She has 2 channels. First, Home Tuber. She gives a whole bunch of information about buying houses and all of that.
Ooh,
so you might be interested in her real estate channel, because she gives, when I say information, she gives a lot of information, like breaks it down. And then her other channel is I Am the Single One. She has a great story about that too. But anyway, hi Ellen.
I love it. So she probably could have a lot to say about what we're talking about, which is when Black businesses and egos and expectation get kind of put in the way, the benefits of having third parties involved, like bookkeepers, lawyers, knowing laws, understanding contracts, or having other people around you who can understand that stuff. And this contract is not a bad word, especially when you're going into business with someone to be lucrative. Now, it's completely different if you're like, oh yeah, my cousin has a thing and I'm helping them out, right? Like I'm just making something up right now. Like, oh yeah, my cousin has an events business and I don't do anything on Saturdays anyway, so I don't mind driving him around and setting this stuff up. Or yeah, my best friend is a DJ and I like to hang out with him all the time, so I don't mind, doing this and that. But when you start,
I feel what you're saying. I can't see myself doing that, but I feel what you're saying.
But I mean, look,
even if it's something that you're doing for free, you still need to have what your expectations are in verbal form, because we might get 2 months down the line and not do something different than what we're supposed to be doing, and I can just be like, oh,
absolutely. And so and that's my point. It's like, if you're saying, okay, we're gonna do a podcast with these 5 people, and you haven't talked about, well, what happens if we monetize, right? And then somebody goes and uses your likeness and your voice.
Listen, it happens. See, that's the thing. You're right. It is. I don't want to generalize and say it's not everybody, right? But we see that stuff all the time. You see, the situation with the lady from the Dancing Dolls. Did you ever watch that show?
No, please explain this to me.
So that is, she is the coach of like these, the girls that compete in dancing. Like, you know how like, you have the dancers in the band, in the marching band.
Oh yeah.
They're kind of like that, right? I didn't watch the show completely, so don't nobody shoot me because I don't know what kind of actual dancers they are, but I know they compete, right? And she's really hard on them or whatever. And she was doing something with Stormy Wellington too. But anyway, she had the southern dancers from Southern University, I think it was. I want to say it was Southern University. It's a school. It's a college, right? That she
I know who you're talking about.
They tried to trademark her logo or something or whatever she was using.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
They didn't do it right, and she ended up trademarking theirs, or maybe they trademarked hers and then she trademarked theirs because they didn't have theirs trademarked. So it's like you would think that an institution that was, in business all this time doing what they're doing, they hadn't trademarked their situation. So she was able to do it. She did like a live talking about it or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not even just people who are just starting out. But another thing that you said that I want to touch on is that you have to do your own research. When you say research, you need to define what research looks like. Because when I talked to somebody a couple of days ago, and we were talking about stuff. And when I do research, I'm not gonna just look at one little thing that it talks about that subject and then move on. I'm gonna look at what different people have to say. Different points of view. I want to see as much as I can so that I can gather information and make my own decision. But everybody does not take the time out to do that. A lot of people feel like if they ask the right person, they got the information, and they no longer have to search. Or if they Google something and the top thing that comes up, then that's what the answer is. And so, we do have to talk about doing research, because a lot of people are out here doing stuff on all levels, like, people who are very famous and people who are not so famous, people trying to start products, from their home, but they're not doing all the research on what they need to do, but they're out here talking like they know what they're talking about. So I think the key thing is people need to learn how to research, like actually find the correct information that you're supposed to find and then put it to use, instead of just being like, all willy-nilly out here.
Let me speak to that, because I also wholeheartedly agree. Sometimes people don't. Oh, okay. Ellen said they trademarked her name, and she went and trademarked their name and home merch and all other ways they could try to make money off of it. See, this is why people...
That's crazy to me, because why are you an institution that's been in existence for however long you've been in existence and you have not trademarked your name?
You know what? This is one of the things that Social Proof was talking about how like you got to go up and buy up your domain, sign up for the social media accounts with whatever name you're using, and that's free, right? A domain might not be free, but it shouldn't be super expensive unless it's like, internet.com or something really common.
You can grab a whole bunch of domains, you know what I'm saying? So
that is really wild. So this is the thing I wanted to say about research. That is really crazy. I can't believe they did that, but then again, I can. Like sometimes people make really dumb decisions, especially in the boardroom, and they have all these dumb coworkers go right along with it. Like, yeah, let's do that. I have some ideas, but I'm not even going to put nobody out there. But check this out. Here's what I want to touch on about research. A lot of people, will go and do like an hour of research and be like, oh, I'm good. I know what I'm talking about.
Not even an hour.
If you really getting ready to get in business and you really getting ready to take something to the next level, first of all, you have to be passionate about whatever it is, because it's going to take a lot of time. And if you don't like to do whatever the thing is, then you're probably not going to stick with it and do the research that you need to do and put in the hours that you need to put in. But that wasn't about research. In my opinion, research is you got at least like 15 valid sources, right? I think you could call yourself a subject matter expert on something if you've answered about 200 questions, right? That's my own personal, you know what I'm saying? Like if you could sit there and say, I've found 200 answers, because every answer you find is going to lead you to 2 more questions. But if you could sit down and write 25 to 50 questions about whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever business it is, like good solid questions, right? Like, who does this? How much does it cost? Is there any equipment involved? What's the best time of year to do this? Who's failed at it? You know what I'm saying? What other things? What boundary? What barriers would I have to break through? Like, find certain people's stories, see how they did it. If you need merchandise, if you need,
but now, like, okay, you're getting, okay, yes,
I'm getting in depth, because it could be anything, even about podcasting or something like that.
No,
like,
I totally agree, but I'm just saying, like, when people out here saying, "Oh, I did my research," we need to define what they think research is. Because if I tell you, you know me, if I tell you that I looked something up or whatever, or that I was researching something, you know that I'm still researching it, but I've also learned this, learned that, or saw this and saw that, or whatever, and everybody does not do that.
Nope. You know terms, you know who are the star players in this field, you know a bunch of stuff that a lot of times you don't even really know what questions to ask until you start doing research. And then you're like, what's that? What does that mean? You know, key terms and phrases, you know, all of this stuff.
Like a rabbit hole, like you said. I had to make me a whole spread of shit that I need to Google, because sometimes I'll be sitting in a meeting and I probably shouldn't say this or whatever, but
it'll just come to you.
I'll be like, oh, let me write this down because I need to look that up later. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But see, that happens to me both ways, though, because I'll be at home, like cleaning up or doing something, and then all this work stuff coming up, like, oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do this. Oh, you should organize it this way. And that's when my good work stuff comes in. But then when I'm at work doing, you know what I'm saying, like doing the actual work, I'm thinking about, you know what, when you get off, you're going to do this, this, and that. But that's the best thing to do, to have your notebook right there, because that's when the ideas come. I am the single one, says she owns like 15 domains. I know that's right. Because another thing is, if you own those domains and you're actually using you're actually using the business, even if you're not using the domains, nobody else can buy it and say they're you, right? And vice versa, if you buy a domain like, you know, Pink Radio or something like that, and then somebody comes along and they're like, my business's name is Pink Radio, you can sell it to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there was a whole big old thing about the Black Panther too. When that came out, people was trying to, like, somebody was saying, oh, I wish I would have bought that domain.
I see
people do that to people in this, you know,
listen, it's
doing business with each other, and then they got an idea, and somebody's like, "Oh, let me hurry up and go get the trademark." You know,
and see, that's the thing. When people do their research, they understand what they're doing, like how things work, how the systems and networks work. How are you going to get paid from this? When people say broad things like, "I just want to be on TV," or "I just want to, you know, be a YouTuber," it's like, okay, if you're doing that and that's your passion, how are you going to get paid for it? And how are you going to leverage, you know, your position to get paid for it? And so you have to figure out how that happens, like do some research. And until you know, like, at least 15 or 16 ways, you probably didn't do enough research. You can't just find one answer and be like, I got it. So, and then also
you'll have people out there that'll be like, they didn't do none of that research and they did something that went viral or whatever.
And this is another way that I'm just saying, general statements here, folks, be gentle on me. I think that in our community, people start to feel like they've been taken advantage of. And specifically here, you know, with the I Am Athlete and the pivot. And I got to talk about that for a second. And I'm not going to get in depth because I know there's a lot of people that watch it. I didn't watch it all in depth,
but I don't care.
I don't want to be talking about.
I'm still going to watch it.
So I think, you know, just as general, I'm just making a general statement. I'm not talking about them yet. Okay. I think when people have not done their research, they put themselves in position to feel like they've been taken advantage of because they might be working with somebody who did do their research. They do have contracts in place. They did buy the domains. They did go in search of merch and trademarking and this and that. And they're like, oh, you did all that behind my back. No, I did it because I did my research, and I did my research, and I figured out that this is how I'm going to make money. So I acted on it, and you didn't. And so there's a really
okay. This is a touchy subject, not for me personally, because I actually agree with you. Like, I'm the person that's going to try to figure out how everything is working before we actually, solidify this thing, right? I'm not going to be that person to be like, oh, you did that shit behind my back. But I know people who have been through situations where maybe, they didn't act on something as quick as they should have, and they shared it with somebody or whatever. That probably happens all the time. That's why I feel like whenever I say protect your energy, you protect your ideas too. Like, yeah, you have to share it with somebody, but you need to keep it close hold until you make sure that it's actually yours, because people will come up with your shit and be like, what?
Right.
And I can't say that I wouldn't be mad if somebody did something like that behind my back, if we were doing something together and we would have had a discussion. Maybe I had the information too, and I just didn't want to do it without telling them. But that's why I only do business with certain people, because I don't got time. I don't got time.
And like you used to say all the time, when somebody does something like that and they show their colors, especially if it's for money, it's like you bought yourself. You bought yourself for however much you made on that. And it's gonna thank you for showing me. I applaud your, your display of yourself, because now I know who I'm dealing with, and this is the last opportunity you'll ever have to take advantage like that.
Where I do understand this. Listen, and people used to always be like, you let people get away with stuff sometimes or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I do, because if I'm me, right, being myself, I'm me. And I know how I operate. And if I'm a nice person, I'm a generous person or whatever, I'm not going to let you change me from being that. If you take advantage of it, you better enjoy the fuck out of that time that you're taking advantage of it, because now I'll be able to freely walk away like, clicking my heels.
Right.
Because you have fun. Now you won't, I'm not going to change me because you did that. But sometimes you gotta let people play themselves and go all the way through with whatever action they were gonna do, if it's not anything harmful. But if it's something like shitty, like just shady, you gotta let them go through it. So if there's no conversation,
right out there by themselves. Yes. So yeah, the pivot. So let me just say this, because this is so interesting. Fred Taylor started the pivot with a couple of other folks. First of all, I just have to say this, and I've heard more about the pivot than I thought they were. I thought it was an older podcast than it was, but just the name itself and knowing what happened, I thought was so genius, because they're football players, right? And that's a term in football, but also the idea that you were going in one direction with a business and then you broke up, and what did you name your business? The Pivot. I was like, wow, that's genius. That is fucking genius. And then for anyone who was following them while they were in the original group, and sees that they're coming out with something else, completely gets it. So, I mean, like, not gets why necessarily, but like completely gets the name. I was like, that is a way to, like, what do they say? See the silver lining in something. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, I don't know all the details. Obviously, I can only go off of what was in the interview and what people have said, but I just thought that was genius. I was like, wow. So
that was another show. She said one of the newest guys from I'm Athlete started his own thing with Fred Taylor and some other guys. And
Fred Taylor's on the Pivot. I'm thinking
she said that it's another one with DJ Williams called Dime Life, or it's on his Dime Life channel.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't watch any of these, but I am gonna watch that
You're gonna watch that
the Pivot interview with Joe Budden, because I like Joe Budden. Joe Budden is, he be having on this asshole suit sometimes, but he is funny. He has, he's made it. He has his moments.
I definitely agree. I had to actually show James how I came across him. So, like, obviously he had that single out that a couple of singles out, really, but
name a couple.
You know who I'm about to say. Tahiri and you talking about the songs?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the couple. I had to make him go back and watch it. So it was I don't know the name of it, but I could hear Fat Man Scoop in the background. Put your hands up, like that song from You Got Served.
I know it was a
song that starts when You Got Served.
I don't even remember that one.
And then Annie Up. I think he was in that. I think that was his song. Annie Up. No, that wasn't his song. I messed up. Yeah. Anyway, I remember he had a couple of really big hits. But Annie Up was definitely not his song. I definitely flaked on that. I can lose my black card for that. But anyway,
Pump It Up.
It was what?
Pump It Up.
Pump it up. Right, I remember
That's
that.
the only one I remember. But
there's another one.
That's good though, because this is what he's supposed to be doing, because he's doing really well.
Yeah, somebody said that. James was telling me that somebody asked him, like, when did you decide to do podcasts? And he was like, when my records wouldn't sell. Like, good for you, buddy. You know, and he has a really good speaking voice, and he's entertaining, and he's, you know, he knows how to speak, and he knows how to, you know, give his thoughts. He knows how to communicate on things like that when he's presenting information. So, I mean, good for him. But I just wanted to kind of touch on that because it just reminded me of like a lot of other things that I've seen in our communities when people, you know, work with each other and then it doesn't go well, and how can we learn from it collectively and understand, like, you know, it doesn't have to be beef just because we don't work with each other anymore. It's a lesson, it's a move on situation. Not to say you have to work with that person in the future, but I think there is an opportunity for us to kind of have that conversation surrounding the benefits of third parties, understanding how things work, doing our own research, figuring out how to find opportunities for ourselves with our talents. So anyway, I'm sorry.
I want to piggyback on that. Well, I want to piggyback on that because it's one thing to need to find that information, and it's another thing to actually go fucking find the information. Because I will tell you this, Tia has the Black Entrepreneurs Network, and in that she goes over small business specifics, and she talks about all of the things that you need to start a business, and there's a whole bunch of other entrepreneurs that share their knowledge, right? And they help each other. The problem is probably really not that like the information isn't available. It's just that people think that they don't got to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just bottom line. Like the girl with the pink sauce. She fucking started making that sauce and sending it out, and shit started happening because it's hot. It was arriving spoiled, and it wasn't the same color as, you know, the batches were different colors and stuff like that. But now it looks like somebody has taken her up under their wing and is making sure that everything is going to go right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I see her back on Instagram, and it looks more professional. You know what I'm saying? But I think somebody is working with her now. But at first she was like, you know, cussing people out because they were talking about her sauce or whatever, and they were like, you didn't get it FDA approved, and she was just like, it's not a medical product, why would I do that?
Yeah, she didn't know what she was talking about. Obviously,
you can tell she hadn't done her research.
These are the opportunities though that we have when we see a Fenty Beauty come about, right? So Rihanna didn't have to go and create her own makeup laboratory and warehouse. She partnered with someone who was already doing that and then created her own formula, right? And then it only took her less than a decade to go ahead and man, maybe even less than a like, I know it's less than a decade. I want to say that brand started in like 2017, but she's already a billionaire. And it's one of those things where you have to see what's out there and how you're going to make it work, where you're bringing your, you know, so lack of a better term, your sauce to it. And you don't have to, you know, start from scratch, right? These are opportunities that are out there. Like, you know, when I go into making ink pens, gel ink pens, I'm not going to start from scratch. I'm going to contact, you know, Tool or Sharpie or somebody like that. And I'm going to be like, hey, here's my ideas. Let's work together. But I'm going to have a contract. Anyway, all right. So moving right along, because I'm sorry, we got so long-winded on that. All right. So I definitely want to give these Black entrepreneur shout outs, but we have to talk about.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's do the entrepreneur shout outs, and then we'll talk about Ready to Love, because I want to give them some shine or whatever. So first, you wanted to talk about, you had told me about Greenwood. Bank Greenwood.
Yes, Greenwood Bank is now available. So it's been like a year and a half, 2 years that it took them to kind of come up with this. Now, Killer Mike was talking about this like a year and a half ago, how he was building a bank and he wanted to be fair for the community. And I was on the wait list for a long time just because, I mean, obviously I have a bank account already, but I was like, I want a bank with a black bank. So I got the word like last week that, okay, look out in the next couple days because you're gonna get the link to sign up. I've already done signed up. That's my account right there, y'all. No, that's not my account.
I was about to say what?
No, but like it's really cool. I haven't even got my card yet, but it's in the mail already.
Okay,
what I think is really cool about it is like when I signed up, it was really, it's normal banking website, but what they have that's different is they have a content part of their app where you can look at like content that Black business creators, like content creators, do, like about financial freedom. And you got the EYL brothers on there with some stuff. You have people who know what they're talking about, different things, like the Gathering Spot. They're talking about that. They have collaborations. They have a whole search engine for Black businesses inside the app. So you go inside the app and it's like, what are you trying to do? You trying to find paint or soup or whatever, right? You put your whatever you're looking for inside the app and it's going to tell you Black businesses that sell that. So I was like, this is wild. I didn't even know that until I signed up for the card, but signed up for the account. I went on ahead and opened up a checking and a savings, and I'm just going to put like a little bit of money over there so I can forget about it. Like I don't even need the money. I don't even need to like use the card and bank. I just want to put some money over there because I'm giving my other banks money. So why not bank with the Black bank, and whatever money that I'm not, and I was like, we'll see how this works out as far as like, I don't know a lot of information about like how everything works. I signed up for the dual direct deposit. I put a portion of my paycheck in there, and then we're just going to see what happens now. Obviously, I didn't put all my money over there because I don't know how it works. It's new. So I ain't trying to like, oh my God. Right. Turns out that was the wrong link. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
listen, I feel like, I have a couple of bank accounts. Well, I don't want to say a couple, but I got a little bit over here, a little bit over there.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm gonna definitely check this out because the directory of Black businesses sounds bomb.
I mean, it's so cool. And then they have content right in there. So I really am enjoying it so far. I haven't even gotten my card, but it's so funny because once you sign up, they give you a virtual card right there. So I know my card number, so I can use my card effectively now. But the physical card hasn't come. But it's very cool. I'm just so happy to be like, and there's other Black banks out there. I think Industrial Bank is a Black bank. There's a couple of Black banks out there that I know of. So, I just feel like it's, this one I was waiting for because I heard a lot about it, and Killer Mike has been working on this. I knew it was going to be dope. So I just went on ahead and signed up. Listen, I can't vouch for them yet because it's only been a few days that I've been signed up.
It sounds interesting to me.
But
it's all about like I like supporting Black businesses, so this is tight. I have to talk about that some more.
Yeah, Ellen, that's what's up. Your main account is with the Black bank, so and hopefully that's what's going to happen here. I'm just, this is new, so I'm taking it slow with this particular bank. But I thought about pulling all my money out of my current bank before, and like, I'm going to a Black bank. I'm going to Industrial Bank because actually, when it was an article that came out that this bank was racist, and I was just like, why is my money there? But I got over it. I was like, all right, I'll be okay.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so I wanted to give a shout out to them.
Okay, and then I'm also gonna check it out because I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then okay, so the next shout out I have is Afro Unicorn. Now, this is funny to me because this lady's name, the founder, her name is April Showers. I can only imagine over the years of her like growing up and stuff, how she got teased, but she is a dope Black woman. Like she, so let me tell you how I found out about her actually. So I was watching the news one morning and Gail was on CBS, and she does these little spots with like business owners and stuff. That's how I found out about the Play Pits person. But James already knew this person because they went to school together. But this particular lady,
James know all the business owners.
I just saw I just saw her on the news like a couple weeks ago, and her personality, like for some reason, just wrapped me in. And she's just a dope Black lady who said to herself one day, like, she said somebody used to call her a unicorn at work because she was like, you're a single mom and you're taking care of your sons and all this. And she was like, what does that mean? And they were like, that just means you can do, you're so magical, you can do all the stuff. So then she went to go look at unicorn, like, images. And she said, I didn't see one Black image of a unicorn. She was like, I'm going to create this because if that's what this means and that's what we're known for, then I want to have an image of a Black unicorn so that Black kids everywhere can have this as a thing. So I love it. And of course, I go by Yes, I'm a Unicorn. And I was just like, yo, this is so like, I just loved her whole story. She's now in Walmart. I want to say she's in, Target too, and she said like so far she has like some t-shirts and some barrettes and like plush toys and things like that. She also sells on her website, and I love her t-shirts and her book bags and stuff like that. But I just really thought it was awesome the way that she went along. And like you said, we talked about earlier, she did all this research. She figured out how to do merchandising. She figured out like all of these things. And she's now in Walmart and Target. I just think that's really super huge. And then one of the news anchors was like, oh, so do you want to share some really big news of who you're partnering with next? So when he said that, she was like, oh, not yet. I can only imagine it's Amazon because, like, if you're a Walmart and Target, like, who's who's more exciting than that? So I'm imagining that. That's for me though. I don't have any facts.
You would be surprised. Like, it's so many. That's why I always say abundance. I got this new thing that I've been saying. I always say abundance is all around me, but now I have to say it. Every time I say it, I got to be like, abundance is all around me.
Yes, the echo. I love that
echo. But anyway, like people, it's enough ideas and things out there for everybody to do. And then we can collaborate with each other because I have something I'm going to talk about in the WGO show and the What's Going On show on Relationship Entertainment Television for the new season that starts next week. There's some collabs going on with like some successful Black-owned businesses. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it is. Like get yourself there. Even if you're not there, like get yourself to the point where your business is running and then we could all, make money together. Like that's how it really should be. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But this is tight. Yeah. So I can't wait to see. I'm gonna keep an eye out on her so I can talk about that on there too. For those of y'all that don't know, Relationship Entertainment Television is an all Black YouTube channel, just like this one. But it's a network, and there's like a whole bunch of different kinds of content over there. There's some news over there. There's me. I do a positive show where I shout out Black entrepreneurs of the week every week, but I also talk about stories in our community whenever any one of us do anything good. So you always have people reporting the bad news, and so I got this little hashtag that I say no bad news. So because we need to kind of like focus on what are we doing good in the community, because a lot of us are doing good stuff. So if you have not followed that channel, I'll definitely put the link in the chat so y'all can check that out. But they actually had a show that was talking about things that go on in the church over there. And then I saw some short films that they were doing, and also the Black Entrepreneurs Network interviews some of the entrepreneurs that she has in her group, in her Black Entrepreneur Network. So I think that a directory is important. And so when you have like a whole, just kind of like what we were kind of trying to do a couple of years ago, like if you could just like the bank app, if you want to buy Black and you don't know about all these products that people are making, then you should have somewhere to go in and be like, oh, let me go look this website up. I need this, or see how many websites it is and choose the one you like. We just got to do a better job at supporting each other. And on the other end of that, the people that we're trying to support got to do a great job at the customer service, so we keep those relationships.
Yes.
Always talking about people asking for hookups, but we also need to talk about how well we treat our customers, as well, because that's what keeps people. I'll go somewhere because the service is good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Really on top of customer service, so I'm there. But yeah, so this is great. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna look for it in Target too. I always like to do that. Do you follow Target Black?
Yes, I do. Black and Target or something like a Target.
I love her YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember exactly what the name of the Instagram handle is.
I shouted her out one time too. I can't remember the name of it, but everybody that's seen it probably knows what I'm talking about. But she just basically goes in there and finds all the Black brands or whatever that sometimes I didn't even know about. So speaking of Black brands, y'all, this one is kind of like, kind of close to my heart because it's a local brand, right? I was scrolling on Instagram and I came across the shirt and I was like, oh, that's kind of tight. And then I saw what was on the shirt and I had to do it. So if y'all are not from DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, then y'all probably aren't gonna know what the hell I'm talking about. But that's okay. Still see it anyway. It's called Area 51. And so anybody's from the area, we don't say it like that. We say area.
So from the area.
Area 51. So this is the shirt that I got on now, right here. This has all of oh shit, I don't want to play that though. It has all of the slang words that we use. You know what I'm saying? So if you're from the area, it got loafing on there, blown, jive, Bama, like a mug, Joe, Sice. All of that is on there. So I had to get the shirt. You know what I'm saying? I got the shirt on right now. So I want to shout out to them because that was a great ass idea.
Yes, I need that shirt in my life, yo.
And they got other colors of it as well. And they have a bunch of these. I like this one too. Ja like blessed. Mm-hmm. And then the last one that I saw, this one was maybe they got on their website because this is their website, area51.com, URREA51.com. And the one, they got a bunch of good ones. Don't be a Bama. Definitely don't be a Bama.
Oh my gosh, I need that shirt.
This one right here, courageous, prosperous, ambitious, luminous, ingenious, and all of it is us. That shirt is the bomb. So anyway, like I said, every time I scroll past a Black business that is offering something that, you ain't got to buy everything that people sell. If it's in your wheelhouse and it's got something to do with you and enhances your life or whatever, that's the Black business that you support. And so this, I like t-shirts. Y'all know I like t-shirts. And so I had to have the shirt. And so whenever I do that, I make a purchase and if I can wear it on camera, I'll wear it on camera. But I also bought something else that came today too, because I was watching somebody, and this goes to show you that this whole YouTube thing and social media thing, it works for business. And anybody that has a business should have a YouTube channel, but I digress. But I'm laying in the bed watching something on YouTube. I'm just like listening to the girl talk or whatever, but then she had the sponsor and she talked about the sponsor and it was like some shea butter or something, whatever. But the way that she, whatever commercial she had or whatever she put together about the products or whatever, I was like, oh, let me go to that site right now while I'm listening to her talk. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how like the word of mouth thing is. Like, yeah, you can have all these ads and everything. And sometimes that does get business, but if we're sharing each other's stuff, more people will hear about it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I went to the website and I bought some of her shea butter as well. So I'll have a review on that after I had a chance to like use it and, check it out or whatever. But this video is not about her. This is about, I wanted to shout out Area 51. So check out their Instagram, URREA.51. And then their website is URREA51.com. So anyway, shout out to them. All right, so that's all I had with the Black businesses. So like I said, if y'all know people that have Black businesses, I love to talk about them. So let me know. Anyway, have you watched Ready to Love?
Yes, I have. I watched Ready to Love Miami, and whoa, I have so many thoughts and feelings.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
I have so many thoughts and feelings. So first of all, these are a cast of characters for real. I actually have some favorites on here, but I was actually just looking at the cast. I put it on our little link page or whatever. Hold on, I can put it in
Who
our
are
little
your
personal.
favorites? I'm dying to know.
I actually have some favorite. I like Samson. I think he's a little green sometimes. Like I feel like he's not getting taken advantage of, but I feel like he wouldn't be the first one to see if somebody was trying to like use him or play him. I don't know. He doesn't give me the vibe of like being so quick to pick up on that, but he seems like a really good dude. Samson? Yeah.
You think he's green?
So I saw green. Him. I don't want to say that. That's not what I mean to say. What I mean to say is, okay. Let me just be real. I think that he likes Sharice, and Sharice don't like nobody. I think Sharice is.
You don't think Sharice likes Samson?
I think Sharice is not one of my favorites, and I think she just wants to be on TV. I think she likes him more than she likes other people, but I don't really think she's like feeling him like with the connection. No, I do not. Okay,
so I do think she's feeling Samson. Maybe she's not. I think she's feeling Samson, whether it's his pockets or him. But I saw him on a he went on Miss Sabrina Soul. You know, she was from the DMV cast or whatever. She does reviews now, and she'll do like watch alongs. And so she was doing a review of episodes 5 and 6 yesterday, and she had Samson come up there, and he explained a lot. I really after I mean, I already thought he was cool. At first, I didn't understand how he was trying to come off with the whole, you know, wanting to pursue whatever, and wanting a woman to pursue him, with how he put that sentence together. But then he cleared himself up in another episode, so I was clear on that before he came on her channel. But he came on there last night, and I really was like, okay, I fucks with Samson. So
I like Samson. I
like him.
I liked him from the very beginning. I mean, I don't know. I thought Mike was cool. I thought what she said to him was super offensive about him having baggage because he has kids.
Well, yeah. Okay. So because I have a kid, I do think that I probably would have took offense to it and been like, not for me. I probably wouldn't have, you know.
I mean, it's one thing to say that's not for me, but to tell someone that I think that's baggage for me. Like, I just think that's rude. Like, you don't say that to someone.
No, but
because you're talking about people.
Yeah, but I think that when people do stuff like that, it needs to be shown right up front, so that you know, so he was able to make his decision or whatever. But it's how different is that than a dude saying, you know, I don't want a woman over 45, or I don't want a woman with kids. Like, it's the same. They're just saying what they don't like. Everybody's, you know, entitled to their preference.
Everybody's entitled to their preference, and I get it. Either way, if a woman would have said it to a man, or if a man would have said it to a woman, calling someone's children baggage.
No, yeah, I definitely agree.
So I think, and it's even different than the statement of saying like, I want somebody without kids, right? Saying that is like, okay, fine, but the word baggage, I guess, was just not the word.
That was triggering, right? But
see, I guess it was triggering because I'm just like, who the hell are you? As if you don't like baggage is something else. Baggage is being.
But you just said
baggage
earlier,
is not a human being.
No, it's not. But you have to let the okay. So one, you know, we can only go about what we've seen on TV, and it looked bad how it came out, right? And I don't think that, you know, it wasn't bad. I just think that they all have these things, and if you're on a show looking for a relationship, I feel like that shit needs to come out, because I need to see that. Whether I got triggered about it or not, okay, bet. You know what I'm saying? But he, you know, he be having his asshole suit on, so I didn't feel bad.
I suppose. I guess he's not. I mean, I'm not. You know, he's not. I do like him. I think he's cool.
It won't let me click on this, because when I click on it, it got Tommy's name right here, so it doesn't bring up the actual picture. So I just have to leave it little like that for some reason.
That's cool. Well, look, it's funny because out of this cast, you know, my favorites, Actually, all right,
you can. What I want to hear. Who are your favorites?
You're gonna disagree with me here. So Swayze kind of grew on me. I thought he was like a real jokester at first, but he kind of grew on me. My favorite women are probably Brandy, Kayla, and Looney. Okay. I rock with Trinika too, but I think I'm getting the most personality and like authenticity from those three. Brandy.
I forgot all about this guy.
Brandy, Kayla, and Luna. I'm looking at this, and Looney. I'm looking at this like so funny because I forgot about some of these people too. Like I remember Dominica, but I can't remember the episode she got voted off on. I don't even remember who Sean is, and I don't remember who Calvin is either.
So Calvin was the one that never made the show. He came on the first episode, but then he had like a family emergency or whatever had to leave. But I was like, Calvin's person wasn't there.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so then let me say who I hate real quick. Let me just say, hate is a strong word. Hate is a strong word. I'm not feeling, well, he's gone now, but Devin, I was just counting down. I was like, why is he here? I was like so mad every time I saw him. And then okay, so now I'm about to say something that is not necessarily true. But I was saying to myself, I was like, why is he high on TV? Like, not high on weed either. I was like, he's sweating. He's having these weird moments. But I was just like, what is going on? Like, is he high? Like, is he coked up? Is he on mushrooms? Is he on acid? Like, who let him here? And then the fact that he was talking about how his kids, he had never met, or, he doesn't deal with his kid or whatever. I was just like, but you have time to come on a whole TV show? Right? Like, get out of here. So he was just a deadbeat from jump. And as soon as he admitted that, and it's just like, look, if you're going to be a deadbeat, like, that's one thing. But like, for you to be talking about it, you just look like a real fool. Like, you look like
that's what I said. I said he should have just not said anything about that. He should have.
No one should know. No one should know.
I don't think listen, I think that it's messed up that he's not seeing his kid or whatever. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't have like told the women about it, but how that joke came out was just so crazy. Like, dude, you should have just I don't know how he could have answered that question, but it just was not. I didn't have any interest in seeing him go forward after that. And I was wondering who was going to start messing with him, knowing that, because that's just a fucked up person right there. But I agree with you. I like Looney. I like Brandy. I like Kayla. And I don't, Sharice is like.
Don't get me started on Sharice.
I don't know. Sharice, okay, so I saw a different side of Sharice when she went on a date with Samson. She was a different Sharice than when she was on a date with these other guys. And it's going to take a specific type of dude to mess with her because she gives off the whole high maintenance thing. But that's all I'm going to say about her. But I think that Shakira should not have been on the show. I think that this show is toxic to people who have any type of issues that they're trying to work through. I think Trinika is a very nice person, and I hope that she did not mess with Randall. What else do I have to say?
What do you have against Randall?
Well, not Randall. I meant to say Justice, because she likes justice. Clearly she likes justice. And I was just like, please do not have anything to do with him because, girl, no.
He got some issues.
Dude think he's so like that is sickening. I can't even like.
Let me just tell you what I think
any other way.
I actually think, he probably does think that about himself at times, but people like that end up being really insecure. He's giving so much of, you should chase me and follow me type of thing that I just feel like it's all empty. It's all weird. The fact that he approached Tommy, because I was like, okay, if he's really addicted, if he's the wad of all dicks, like I think he is, then this is going to be a real weird conversation when he has to explain to Tommy why he had to go leave. What are you, a club promoter? I don't know. I'm not trying to shit on nobody's job.
I think he is, but Tommy's not going to hold them accountable.
Well, here's the thing.
How quickly they handled it.
But so look, when he came to Tommy, he apologized right off the cuff. And I was like, okay, so he does understand like what's, you know, appropriate. I just didn't understand why he didn't tell him in the beginning, like, hey, listen, I know we have this thing, but I have to leave and go to work.
Right, because if it was like a grand opening,
you know what I'm saying?
Already planned.
But so the thing that I don't like is when he's so case in point, when he's sitting there talking to Kadian, and Kadian is I respect her. But she's one of those people too that I feel like when you enter into a process like this, you have to be willing to accept feedback. And maybe everybody's not right, but you have to sit there and say, wow, more than one person has said this about me. Let me think about that for a minute in a quiet corner. Right. And she doesn't necessarily strike me as having had that exchange yet. It seems like she's just on the defensive. But when she and Justice sat down and talked, I guess it was like the pool hall, he was so defensive. Like she couldn't even get her words out. And granted, we don't see all of every conversation, but the way that he tried to like play it at the end, like, oh, you don't want to hug? I want to hug. That was really like button pushing-y. And it was really something that was like immature that he's done before to either smooth things over or, you know, it was just too quick and you could tell it wasn't authentic, but he was doing it either to get under her skin or he was doing it because this is the only tactic he knows and he was really bothered. So I think he's actually insecure on the inside of all of that, you know, bravado. And then him showing up to the workout thing with the suit and not getting on the trampoline. At first I was like, maybe he's hungover, but I don't know. It's just like, who are you? Like, why are you doing this? Like, what are you here for if you're not going to be?
So every season is one person that I feel like this about. And you're right. It could be insecurity or whatever. But like they both, to me, at that when him and Kadian was having that conversation, I was like, oh, they both like each other and they're handling it the immature way because they both were fighting for control in that conversation. She was trying to get out what she had to say, try to say how he didn't do this, and he was trying to have the conversation, but I think he really liked her. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end, he was like, okay, baby, or whatever. And I was just like, boy. And then I was just looking at her though, because I was like, she likes Swayze, but I think that she did like him. You know what I'm saying? But then it was really apparent to me that Shanika liked him because she kept on talking about, you know, this is what they're saying, but I can't relate. I wanted to be like, Shanika, stop saying that.
Right. Why don't you look and see? Right.
But then, and so I was like, I hope she don't have nothing to do with him because she's too nice for him. But then when he was talking to Looney, when he got to that workout thing, where they was doing the trampoline and stuff like that, I said in my video that I don't know what this nigga was doing in his suit and slides and a fedora. Now, I will say I did not see a fedora, and I have no idea why I said that, but probably because he be trying to wear these hats on these other dates or whatever. But I had to laugh at myself because I was like, bitch, he was not wearing a fedora.
He looked fedora-ish. But it looked like he would have had one, and he probably did. Right. Well, first of all, when he first got there, he did he leaned down and put something down. Maybe it was his jacket.
So it probably was his jacket that Looney helped him take off. And I was just looking at that whole scene like, nigga, get out of here. Like, nobody wants to, like, why are you here?
Why are you here? And there were so many people that I had to say that about.
And everybody came in workout clothes. So I was like, you had to know that y'all were going to do something like this because everybody else got the memo.
Everybody else got the memo. Maybe he got the memo last.
But so he's the type of dude that, like, I feel like he think he's so like that. But he probably thinks he's like that because it's these broads out here that see him wherever he is and whatever he's doing, and they pump his head up. But those kind of broads he don't want. You know what I'm saying? But those are the broads that he gets. So I feel like they pumped his head up, and now he's really seeing that. Oh, okay. It's really not this way out here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but those are I don't want to talk about those women. I don't know those women, but
he's probably used to them coming up to him and saying whatever, and then he can say whatever and say, "Oh no, this is how I do stuff in my kingdom. This is you going to either get down or," and then it's another one waiting to take the spot. But he don't.
And those women obviously don't have what somebody like Kadian has, who's going to say, "Oh no, I'm not doing that because I'm worth this much." So when you're not worth that much, you're gonna go along with the bullshit because you're not worth that much, and you're like, oh, but he's this way and he's that way, right? Like like when you if you want somebody who is of high value, shall I say, like inside, right? That means that they're not necessarily going to go along with the bullshit. And that's why I think he's here in this process, because he's looking for somebody who, you know, who has some substance.
No, he's not looking for anybody at all. I think he's there because they were like, listen, we need 3 more guys.
TV, you can wear your fedoras.
We need 3 more guys, and okay, send in your headshots. That's how I feel, because
just get your Beijing out. Put some Beijing in your beard.
He could just roll out, because like,
no. All right, look, Ellen said, oh no, get started on Sharice. Listen, I'm not gonna say too much because I realize that this is a person, this is a human being, so all my thoughts still need to be stated. But I will say this one thing that I feel what speaks to someone's character when they do this. And listen, I actually did not feel neither way here nor there about Zoe until he got
another one. Like, first of all, sir, have several seats. You should be happy to be participating. His whole attitude, no. Get out of here.
Here's the thing, though. I did identify with what he was saying. His delivery was a little bit intense, a lot of bit intense, but I think he's just an intense guy. And I don't really know. Like, he definitely has to learn how to navigate that, because that's not like, you know, acceptable behavior. But here's what I felt.
Sharice is from here, but she's been there for like 13 years. She must have lost all sauce, because he would have got cussed out from the head to toe if it was the right person.
Well, I think that he hit a nerve, because I think he was telling some of the truth, right? Like, she was coming in there asking him, and I guess it's a part of the process to be like trying to, okay, let's see if we have a connection. But I did think she was being fake. And he didn't have to say it like that, but he could have said it in a completely different way and gotten his point across. But I think he was amped up. I think they probably was drinking, and I think his true, like, you know, fraternity like spirit came out, and he just didn't realize, oh, I'm talking to a woman. But I did not appreciate, okay, I felt like she got real Karen on that. Like, and follow me here. Like, she was, when they flipped to her like reacting, she had these crocodile tears. There were no tears. Okay. Mm-hmm. She just had the high-pitched voice, like, ah! And then later on, she's all upset, like, he needs to go now. It's one thing to say, he's not for me, I'm never going to talk to him again. But for you to think that you warrant, like, you have the power and authority to send someone home because you don't want to date them, this is not your show, ma'am. And so I felt like she was displaying Karen behavior, because this is the way Karens behave. Like, this is the way they act. They're like, oh, I don't agree with what you're doing Karen, and how you're expressing yourself. You know, like, out of my presence you go.
I think it caught her off guard, right? But I really think that the mindset she was in was like, no, this nigga didn't just carry me like that on TV while these fucking cameras is rolling.
Perhaps, but you don't have that much power. And and honestly, he was not lying.
No, but she had to cry or something because the cameras are rolling, and I just got carried by this nigga.
Those were such crocodile tears. It just hurt my little, like, I was so irritated.
I think her feelings were hurt, but you know,
I'm sure her feelings were hurt, but she wasn't really crying. So if you're not really crying, why pretend to cry? Like, that just makes me so, like, you know, when you get to the point where you have to cry, that shit bothers you so much because you don't want nobody to see you cry. Please don't
wipe their face like there was a tear coming out. But I wasn't there. I don't know. All I know is from what they showed on TV, it gave me, you know, production could have sent her over there and was like, hey, go talk to him, right? And so she did that. But, you know, true. My thing is, you know, it just gave me, I wasn't really feeling this dude anyway. I came over here against my better judgment to try to make conversation or whatever. and and then he just like carries me like that, and everybody is gonna see this. That's how I feel like she had to do that, because like I said, I think she probably was, her feelings was hurt because he did yell at her, but I just feel like
she wild.
I feel like she was embarrassed more than hurt, because like I said, if it was me, first of all, I wouldn't even been trying to talk to the dude, but I would not have put myself in a situation for him to be like anything. No. So I think she was embarrassed. I think that's what.
Perhaps I just didn't appreciate. I felt like it was Karen behavior, and honestly, she hasn't been my favorite. All from along from the beginning. If you recall, she tried to. She was. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she was just on her phone, but she's had a lot of moments that were like, "Let me look past that moments," and I'm just not really sure that she's being authentic. Like I don't have a good grasp on who she is. I feel like she makes these statements and she's kind, sure, like she's okay to people, but I feel like she's I don't know. I feel like she's a little. I don't think she's authentic. Listen, this is what I'm saying.
Well, Simpson did say that it's hard to find women in Miami that are not what a word did they use that had a head, that he was like from the neck down they're all 10s, but then from the head up it's hard to find one that's, I guess, intellectual. I can't remember what word he used or whatever, but I mean, at a certain point, it's like, okay, we didn't pick who's in here, right? We just get to see, okay, the people that are here. So when you stay and decide to go forward with the process, you're essentially saying that, okay, I'm going to do something different than I do in my normal dating life. I'm going to just take these random people that somebody else picked out for me, and I have to see what works, right? I have to see what works out. But the problem is, only a few of them are being open to doing something different than they've been doing outside of this show. A lot of them are coming in like they normally date. Like, okay, well, these are the type of people I like. I like this type of person, and this is how I conduct myself, when I'm trying to get to know the opposite sex. And those people are the ones who are like, Mike and Katie and Justice. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know that Justice is for real and had signed up for this show. Like, hey, I'm going to go on TV.
Right.
I really would like to know how he found out about the show, like, and how he ended up to be on there, because he just don't really seem like he's looking for anything.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't seem like he's looking for love. He may be just looking for attention or exposure or something. But I agree with you. It seems like some people come on here for actual love, but some people probably come on for the opportunity to, expose themselves. But it seems like a really good opportunity to learn about how you're engaging in dating, right? It seems like a really good opportunity to get a focus group together that, what I'm saying, to like tell you about yourself, like
a microcosm. Like it is a little sample of what is out in the real world. We know somebody like all of these people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like you may not know somebody like all of the people, but these certain people stand out because it's like, oh, I know somebody like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that it's like you are only going to take that, what you just said, and be like, oh, I can learn from this. If all these dudes are saying this, or if all these all these women are saying this about me, maybe that is something I need to work on. But if you are not going into a situation looking for feedback and growth, you are looking at that like it's them that's the problem. Like it's a couple of people here that are like, I'm sure when they got there, they're like, oh, I got this. This is what's here. Okay, I got this in the bag. You can tell by their attitudes.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, okay. So what did you think about the Mike and Kayla situation? Mike and Kayla went out on a date.
All right. So I felt like they obviously have chemistry, and they would be the type that, like, if they met in a club or whatever, they'd probably go home together. But I think that they both had made a connection with somebody else, and they were like, I don't want to ruin this just for what I would typically do, which is go sleep with you. I'm not calling either of them thotty or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, you could tell that they had sexual chemistry.
And he said, well, he didn't tell her, but he said she looked like a video fantasy. She's a video fantasy and Brandy's real. Did you see that part?
I did, and I thought that was an interesting way to put it, because I think Brandy is good looking too. So, but I think what he was trying to say was that, you know, he's making a like more of an emotional connection with Brandy, and so far he and Kayla haven't made it that far, like emotionally. So anything that he and Kayla would have would be based off of this intense sexual energy that we can see and grab and fold up and put in our pockets. I can see it on film.
So what did you think about the part where they were at the dinner and he was like, made her stand in front of him to talk?
I thought it was odd. And even Brandy was like, don't they have drinks in there? I'm gonna need one, right? I thought it was odd that he would do that in front of Brandy. I don't really know what the purpose of that was, other than to think that, like, they'd be drinking. You know what I'm saying? They'd be drinking at these functions. And, like, I could see a dude doing that. Like, dudes have done stuff like that to you. And dudes have done stuff like that to me. Like,
well,
come over here and say it. It's just like, I was like, what do you want to do? Like,
what is going to make you get up in front of, okay, so everybody know you and Brandy been stuck together. What is going to make you get up and stand in front of her? Like, I'm going to want to see you do that if I'm Brandy, right?
I think he wasn't, yeah.
No, but I think that, because when they left that date, she was like, I'm going to come see you when they leave. And I don't know who they was, but I was like, is she talking about the cameras? But then I said this in my video too, but I was like, something happened with them that he thought that she might say something about when they were airing all their grievances. And he was like, oh, I got to be in front of her face so that she cannot say anything about
we
this.
did it, that's or we made out, or...
That's the way it made me feel. I was like, okay, oh, what he trying to stop? Because of course, if you got me standing in your face. If I say,
I could shush you, or I could say, don't do that, right?
Or hug you, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I guess I don't know.
No, you know what? Instinctively, you might be spot on, because it's like one of those things, like, what's standing in front of me gonna do? And she was right mid-sentence when he did that. So it makes sense.
Why are we doing this?
yeah, it makes sense.
She was confused.
That he wanted to be like guarding what was coming out of her mouth or something. Or like maybe he didn't want her to say something that he said, you know, about Brandy, or to her about them.
Because they were saying whatever. And then I thought it was funny because you said something about Sharice saying anything. And I felt like when she was at that when they was having that dinner, I felt like she was saying just anything that came to her mind. Like she wasn't really...
Well, she was also being fake at the dinner, because she know her and Katie and don't get along, and she knows she's going to hold a grudge against Katie. Listen, let me tell you something about Sharice. I don't know this lady. She can hold a grudge. I can see it in her brow. I can see it in the furl of her brow that she is a master, professional grudge holder. And she'll hold on to a grudge, and she'll act like she dropped it. And then 3.5 years later at Thanksgiving dinner, she'll bring that shit back up so quick it'll make your head spin. You're like, you still talking about that? I thought we squashed that. No, we didn't squash that. And this is who she is. Okay, so I've done gone all over.
I feel like she looked like Evelyn Lozada a little bit to me.
Why
nobody sees it? She looked to me.
I don't think so. I mean, okay, if you squinted and turned your head to the side, but like, I don't think she looks like Evelyn Lozada. I think that she has a weave. All right, I don't want to be unkind, but she does not look like Evelyn Lozada. If you're sober,
just like hold on, I'm about to see.
I do not agree. I think that's I got so many things.
I could be wrong. I don't know, but they look like they could be.
If you could bring up a split screen, I would be so excited. I don't know if you could do a split screen because you would have to have both of the screens on the thing, but it's one of those things that I don't think that, but I think that if you were looking from far away, you might think that but she doesn't look like her at all, in my opinion. But you know, to each his own. You know what I'm saying?
They definitely favor each other to me.
I
bring this over here.
Don't think so at all. No.
Damn it! I moved it. They have the same Mean Girl look. All right, I done messed it up.
No, it's all good. She looks nothing.
They definitely favor each other.
They do not. You're looking at a weave.
Are you serious right now?
Yes. Oh, they have none of the same features.
But
none of the same features. Their noses are completely different. Their eyes are completely different. Their mouths are completely different. What looks alike is their hair and their skin tone. They look completely different. They look nothing alike. Like if you look at her features, if you look at her eyebrows and you look at her nose and you look at her mouth.
So if you look at her cheeks and her mouth, you don't feel like they look alike. They look like they could be related to me. Anyway, I'm done with that. It looks like. Now I'm not talking about which one looks better. I'm just saying.
No. I'm saying that they look nothing alike to me. I mean, I think they look alike from afar based on the hair and the skin tone, but I just don't think they look alike. You know how people used to say Michael Jackson looks like, you know, I think used to compare him to so many different people, like Michael Jackson and Brooke Shields, right? Like like they had the same hair, like at one point, and it's like, okay, there's certain people that look alike because they have the same frame or the same face shape.
Yeah, no, I don't listen. I just think that they favor each other. I mean, it's not.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not saying it's an insult to either one of them or anything like that. I just don't, I just don't see it. But I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. But yeah, so. Okay. Oh, wait, are you talking to me? We must be delayed.
Yeah, I think we do have it like 1, 2,
3.
Wow. Yeah, it's like a 2-second delay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well,
I can't wait to keep watching. I think it's fun. It's fun this season. And it's interesting, like, because I guess it seems like completely different. I guess it's a completely different cast, so it would be.
It seems like it's like, even though it's only the 6th episode, like after when you sent this link and I pulled up these pictures and I started looking at people, I'm like, dang, it feels like it's been a long ass time, but it's only been 6 episodes.
Yeah, it does. You know what? I feel like when you have a cast like this and you see how people are, you think like, oh, I know who they are. Like I've seen, like, it's not like I've seen them before, but like you get a sense of people, especially, I don't know, I spent a lot of time in hospitality industry. So I've met like thousands and thousands of people, and I'm not saying everybody's alike, but there's certain types of people that just happen to just be a lot alike, and I could guess a lot of things about them based on other people that they remind me of. So I think with this cast for sure, like there's a lot of people in here that I'm like, I've met a person like you before, and I'm pretty sure you're like this based on your personality, based on the way you talk, based on the way you dress. Like, oh, you're that guy. Oh, you're that girl. Like, I get you. Like, I get it.
Yeah, like Justice. I met a lot of Justices.
We've met Justice before. We've met Mike before. I feel like I've met LJ before. I feel like I've met Brandy before. Never met a Devin. But you know, we've definitely met a Zoe before. I feel like I've met a Samson before. He actually reminds me of somebody who used to date. I've definitely met a Kayla before.
Oh Lord, that's funny.
I've definitely met a Kayla before.
Kayla has a YouTube channel too. It's
okay, cool.
Kayla.com. And she does, like, you know, she'll talk about whatever. I haven't caught her last episode, but she talks about like stuff that happened. Because when you find out, like, since they film all the time, like they film all day for these things, we don't see all of the stuff. And so when you find out some of the stuff that they, you know, like production asked them to do or whatever, it just be like, But okay, that brings me back to when Sharice and Samson were on their date at the on that skating date, and they went off to the side and they sat at the table and talked or whatever. She had like food crumbs in her mouth, and they had the camera all closed up. I was like, now on. You could have.
I didn't see that. I saw the part you're talking about. I didn't see the crumbs.
I said, look at this shit. But it was Sharice, so I was just like, oh well, I guess it washes out or whatever. But I was like, they do that all the time. Like they can't. You can walk over and tell somebody to say this or say that, but you can't say, okay, wipe your face and we can continue or whatever.
Now this makes sense to me. With so many shows, I'll notice that if they have food in front of them, like you never see them eat the food, or so they probably a lot of other networks probably just cut out the part where they're eating.
Yeah, because sometimes I be wondering, did y'all eat? You know,
and sometimes like if you're feeding someone something, like that's a moment, but if you're not, then and it's not like a funny moment. Like Kayla had a moment.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be talking. Yeah, you would just be eating, and it would just be like chewing sounds and shit because they mic'd up. So that does make sense. I didn't think.
Let me tell you something. Randall and Kayla were in Miami at a restaurant, and the restaurant they were in looked so familiar to me. I was like, no, but they're in Miami. And then when they walked out and I saw the name of it, it was exactly the restaurant I thought it was.
What, when they had that booth and you could see through it on the other side? What
restaurant did that look like to you?
I don't know.
It was Matchbox.
Was it?
Yes. So I was like thinking the whole time, like, no, they're in Miami. It's like, you obviously know, I know all of their decor.
I did not even catch that.
Vibe, like the red metal, the box. So the box,
I didn't even catch that
in every location. So I'm like, I was like the red metal, the this, the that. I was like, the steak was huge. I was like, but that could be anywhere. I was like, they're in Miami. There's so many restaurants. Like, it's ridiculous that you just think that every restaurant is Matchbox, Faith. And then, because I was watching another show and they were at Matchbox, and I was like, you know, Faith, you got to get, you know.
Man, I miss those brunches.
They walked out and I saw the logo. I was like, golly. You know, they're black owned now.
That was your father. That golly was your father. But I miss those, I miss those brunches that they used to have that used to bring us to, where they like roll out the new food that they're gonna be trying or whatever.
Yeah.
Those were bomb. Anyway,
so another great conversation. I can't wait to talk to you again about what happens next week, because I'm waiting to see what happens with. There's one thing we didn't talk about, and we'll talk about next week, is Jamala and how she's lying to these people about her age, and how I was really shocked about what.
Well, it might not even be her. It might be the network. We don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to put that on her, and I could be wrong anyway. But Jamala and Randall, their whole situation kind of took me by surprise. So I'm curious to see what happens in the next episode. And I can't wait to recap and continue talking about this.
And because next week they meet the friends. The guys meet the girls' friends. So I want to see like how that goes. And it looks like what's her name? Kadian is having a blow up with Swayze about not dating black women. So,
yeah, I want to see that.
Be interesting. So I'm so glad you're watching. I always love your recap and your insights, because you point out stuff that I don't see or whatever. So I like the to see it from other sides, because like you said, these people sometimes remind you of people that you know. So you kind of be like, oh, so I'm just waiting for Justice to go, but I feel like they're gonna keep Justice because of the whole difficult attitude he has. Like,
yeah, I guess he's good TV or something.
I guess, but that Bama needs to start moving around or something. He only 42, talking about he got lower back problems, dude.
Yeah, I think he was just hungover. That's what I think. But whatever. It's just me.
Anyway, you're gonna be right though. But yeah, okay. So we'll circle back on that one next week. So anyway, I want to thank y'all for coming by for another week. Make sure that if you missed the Black entrepreneurs that we shouted out in the video, you're going to have to red ball it back. Make sure you show some support. I'm going to put their links into the description after we finish this live. Faith, do you have any closing remarks?
I just love having discussions with you. Just another great discussion. I can't wait to come back next week because I know we're gonna have some more bomb topics that didn't make the list this week, and
yeah, because it's something that we didn't talk about. I don't know if you want to talk about this still now. I'm sorry, I cut you.
No. We'll talk about that next week because there's some other things that they're going to key into that about, like, just a preview about being a Black content creator, and, the trials and tribulations, and even just, going back to what we were saying about being yourself, like getting over yourself to get started, and some of the things that everyone goes through, but then also once you get into it, what some of our community members in the Black community are facing when we start to create content, and what's kind of like happening in that space. I can't wait to talk about that, talk about my own journey and the things that are in my head, and to continue talking about Ready to Love. I do have to say this as a disclaimer. These people have signed up to be on TV. I do not want to bash anybody. I applaud their courage. Courage to come on and, kind of expose themselves, whatever comes out. And so I appreciate their, sharing their stories with us. And I don't mean anything harmfully, but we're gonna give our real thoughts, guys. So this is just,
so I agree with you. I'm gonna piggyback and say, we over here, we're not bashing anybody, but we are going to talk our shit, meaning we're going to point out the shit that didn't look right with us, okay? It's all fun, you know what I'm saying? Because they do listen to some of these reviews, and there are people who just go all the way the fuck in, acting like these people aren't people, and that's not what we want to do over here. However, if you on some bullshit, like Justice is on some bullshit, we're going to call out that bullshit. I don't see anything wrong with that. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. So, Justice need to go put some Beijing in his beard and have several seats. Anyway.
Oh my God. But yeah, so, hopefully they can understand that they're now public figures. They're on a show, and people are going to have conversation. So, it is what it is. We're going to talk our shit over here because we have sarcastic mouths, but we mean no harm.
And you'll be fine.
You'll be all right. You'll be
fine, guys. Hey, look, you're in TV now. You're a celebrity.
You're doing better than me. So, I mean, hey, we're going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, so we're gonna come back here next week. Thank y'all for hanging in there with us. Ellen, I see you.
Ellen, I love you so much as usual. You're hilarious.
First home tuber was in here. I appreciate y'all. So okay, we're going to go ahead and ta-ta for now. Right? Is that what we're doing?
See y'all next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.